All right. Good morning to our afternoon, whenever you're watching this. To you all, this is video for Monday. I am pre-recording it Sunday night because I got myself a lot of driving to do for work on Monday. Anyway, today is my Fed wish list, or I'm calling it here fedwish.com. I decided to have a little fun with it. Um, so anyway, yeah, all the memes that are out there for wish.com. Uh, no, we're not talking about that. But I would like to list some of the things that I hope that the league can improve upon for this next season. Now, this isn't so much a nitpicking video. Um, the Fed has really improved as an overall entity over the last few years. The way that things are run, the way that they conduct business on a daily basis, much better than it was 13, 14 years ago. They've come a long way. Um, every league can find ways of improving, even the NHL. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of give my wish list as far as things that I think would help the league become a better product for fans, for the teams, for the players, all the way around. I think these are things that helps everybody. All right. And I kept it like I said, I don't want to nitpick. So I kept the list down to a couple of basic things here. What 8 total things here? Okay, so first the schedule. Um, this last year was rough. Obviously, having an odd number of teams really hurt. There was a lot of confusion as far as whether Delaware or New Jersey was going to be involved. And that really kind of messed up the planning for the whole schedule for this last season. And then you ended up with, teams playing each other 18, 19, 21 times. And, it wasn't ideal. It had to work for a year. Hopefully, it's kind of a one off, but I think there's two very specific things that the league really ought to consider doing for the upcoming season. All right, first is an earlier start. And what I mean by that is not starting like at the end of September or anything like that. Okay, last year, the league officially got underway. It was October 13th. 11th, 12th, 13th, somewhere right around that area. That's a good time. But the problem is, the last 2 years, the league has started with just one or two teams playing, and then other teams don't play for a week or two. And that just really fouls things up. Obviously, I know we have a situation coming up this year. Carolina, okay, the ice doesn't get put in at the Fairgrounds Arena until very late. It's like October 23rd, 24th, 25th. And I understand that. You can only do so much. But, okay, so let's have Carolina play the first couple of weekends on the road. Then 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, whatever. First home game, and they go on with the schedule. But at least they've played for a couple weeks along with everybody else. It kind of feels like one of these soft opening teases, like grand opening of such and such a store down the street from you, and you go in, and well, it's not really being announced, even though the store is opening tomorrow morning. Or grand opening is on Friday. What? Uh, I don't get that. So anyway, yes, start everybody off at the same time. Start them right around that October 12th, 13th, 14th time. All right. Also, yeah, better balance with the opponents. I really don't think the league. I know they're trying to save money with travel costs, but I really don't see the benefit in one team playing another team more than say 12 or 13 times in the course of a year. It just gets to be too much. Familiarity breeds contempt. And, you know, I mean, I know it's a rivalry, Motor City and Port Huron, but you guys got to admit, you get a little sick of seeing each other once you start getting towards, March and April. So, anyway, better balancing. It's going to be easier this year with hopefully 12 teams, and that leads me to my next point. Yeah, we've got 12 teams right now. Let's cut it off right there. Let's hold at 12. My concern is that the league overexpands and gets into some bad situations. Um, it's if you have 13, 14 teams, you're gonna really overtax the league with travel costs. Plus, I mean, the 8 teams that are losing players in the expansion draft, now they would have, well, a total of 6 teams involved in the draft. That's no good. That's no good. You can't just completely strip, the teams that performed well enough to make the playoffs. It's like punishing them for making the playoffs this last year. So I understand you want to balance things out and have parity, blah 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 blah. But you grow too fast, you create problems. Growth is good, but pace yourself. So let's cap it at 12. All right. I really believe that the roster should be upped to 21 aside. I understand you have 23 or 24 like you did a couple of years ago. There's talent that kind of gets stashed and hidden away, and players end up not being able to touch the ice because they're constantly a healthy scratch. But we don't want him playing for another team, so we're just gonna kind of tuck him away. Um, and that did happen. 19 too little. Plus, we got to get rid of the 4-game PTO thing. I understand the intent of it, but it caused a lot of confusion. Trying to make sure everyone was roster compliant. There were a couple teams, I'm not going to name who, but there were a couple teams that exceeded the 14 4-game contracts that they were given for the year. But that aside, it was just too confusing. Just 21 on your roster. There you go. And then the average team, I would imagine, would have like 11 forwards, 7 defensive men, 3 goalies. I think that's a good setup. It would just be better for everyone, I think. And there's talent out there. There's tons of talent, especially at the college and junior levels. You just have to know where to find it. Some coaches and GMs do know where to find it, and they bring the players in, and they have a great year. Some coaches / GMs need to work on that. All right, next thing, diversity in ownership. And this isn't just about Barry Soskin, but there is the fact that Barry Soskin owns 6 of the 12 teams now, and the problem is when it's time for a meeting of the board of governors, guess how many votes that Soskin gets? Yeah, 6. So the other 6 teams, they've got to be pretty much in agreement with things. If something's going to be voted on or changed or whatever, those 6 are going to have to be in agreement, because if Soskin feels the other way, well, there you go. Yeah. There needs to be equal representation for each team. I really believe that. Plus, just the financial aspect of it. God forbid something happens where Soskin is unable to manage these teams or operate these teams. What happens then? Do you have a league collapse? We don't want that. So, yeah, I really feel like Soskin needs to sell at least a couple of these teams off. There are buyers out there. There are people out there. Now, obviously, they have to be vetted, but you know, it really needs to be balanced out better. All right. Better record keeping by the league, and this has been a sore spot of mine all year long. And unfortunately, there are games in some arenas where the record keeping is a little bit more shoddy than it is in others. I get that sometimes communication, the wrong information is sent from the off ice officials at the game to the league website. I understand that. But I know for a fact there are also occasions when the off ice officials sent the correct information and it gets posted incorrectly. The famous 12 past Ridgen game. Ridgen did not surrender 12 goals. He surrendered 8, but he got tagged with 12, and that's the official stat, even though it's wrong. The finals game, Gus Ford scored a hat trick in game 3. Didn't get credit for it. Yeah, Roman Kramer, I'm glad you got some creds, but you didn't get the goal. It was Gus Ford's goal. Um, Stuff like that, and that matters. That matters, especially when you're talking about players that are looking to advance their careers. And one of the ways that happens is um, people from the upper leagues look at your numbers, they look at the stats, and they see another goal for Gus Ford. It makes him a little bit more attractive now, doesn't it? Anyway, so yeah, there needs to be better record keeping. I feel like there should be a team of like 3 people that are maintaining the website and posting the information and recording the official stats. That way, there can be a little bit of some checks and balances there. All right, restore the advisory board for officials, because obviously that got dropped. We don't know that it got dropped, but it got dropped. Unfortunately, when the Fed has a habit of when things aren't going quite right, they just kind of quietly make it go away and they don't address it. Instead of coming out with a statement of, we have decided to forego the advisory board because of cost overhead or whatever. But make an announcement. But anyway, yeah, the advisory board needs to come back because officiating started this last year, pretty shaky, got better until about mid-December, end of December, and then it went way downhill in a lot of games, and it was unfortunate to see. Um, so anyway, you had things like Stoy getting punched by a linesman. You had the Kozlowski no goal in Binghamton. You had the Babin getting ejected twice for really no reason this year. Stuff like that. Accountability needs to be returned to the officiating. All right, which leads me to my next thing, Dave Jackson. You've heard me say it before. I'm personally not a fan, but you know what? Somebody's got to do the job. I feel like if Dave Jackson put his full effort into being the director of player safety and not making appearances on ESPN and being an analyst and stuff like that, his job would be a lot more thorough and fair. A lot of things fell through the cracks, and you could see it in some of the write-ups Dave had. Like he was half paying attention. Dave, if you're going to be the director of player development, then be the director of player development. Either go full time or give someone else the reins. All right. And finally, fans, this next year, I know things happen. I know you're excited about your team. I know you're passionate fans. But remember, it's just a game. Don't don't go all nuts on fans from the opposing side this year. There was way too much drama this last year. Please be civil. Yeah, please understand. It's just a game. All right, so that's it. That's my wish list. And remember, tomorrow, news comes out, full details about Hudson Valley or whatever they're going to call themselves uh, tomorrow. I'm recording this Sunday. Later today, that news is coming out. So watch for it, and I will be posting on Facebook when I am able to and pass along the full details. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And make sure you're subscribed to the Fed League Flash Facebook page because that's where I spend a lot of time. All right, thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you again next time.